Hey guys, sorry about that. Just got a lot of stuff going on. Hello?
Hi, we're here.
Oh, Yolanda.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but you were involved in the state thing, right?
Yeah.
NRCS?
No wildlife services.
Or wildlife services?
Okay.
But we could do something with Yolanda.
Yeah.
We'll figure out.
No, but we're looking at partnering and getting with an NGO to go out and do some soliciting.
Thank you.
Yes, we have quorum now.
Let me call the meeting to order. Okay? It's 16:04, Tuesday, February 4th, 2025, 4 p.m. at the University of Guam College of Natural and Applied Sciences Building, room 126. It's a regular board meeting of the Northern Guam Soil and Water Conservation District, and call this meeting to order. Let's do a roll call.
Chairman Joe
Sanchez.
Treasurer Katrina Regis, Secretary Norma Castillion, absent. Director Tom Tanaka,
Present.
Director Marlene Revo, absent. Northern Guam Advisor Dr. Bob Bavacqua,
Present.
Staff Jenilyn Abanalis, present. Staff
Recording progress.
And our guest and partner from APHIS, Chad Richardson.
And Southern.
And partner from Southern District, Erica.
Okay. So we have a quorum, so let's move forward from here. Did you guys read the minutes for January 7th, 2024? Do I hear a motion?
The motion to approve the
January 7th, 2024 minutes.
Subject to technical corrections.
Do we have a second? Director Tanaka, we need a second.
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to approve the January 7th, 2024 meeting minutes, or to accept it. Made by Treasurer Katrina Regis, seconded by Director Tanaka. It's open for discussion. If there's no further discussion, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Director Tanaka?
Aye. It's subject to the check, correct? That's
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The January 7th, 2024 meeting minutes have been accepted. We'll go into the officers report, the district chair's report. There's upcoming events that are happening. The Stewardship Week and local working group, which is the Stewardship Week is April 27 and May 4 to May 4. And we're planning for the proclamation signing on April 4 because they can only do it on the first and third week of the month. And so we're planning for April 4th to do the stewardship proclamation side of the house, and the local working group is when? Tentative. I thought it was going to be
Tentative
April.
to May 2nd.
May 2nd?
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to plan it in advance so we can submit it out and we don't have to worry about it. It's an annual requirement by federal law that the districts go in and provide the local primary resource concerns of the island to NRCS, and then that's where we can make projects or get projects going in terms of that. So, well, we're planning that with the South to do it at a location to be announced, and so just wanted to make sure you guys understand that we're still having the educator symposium, the annual educator symposium, and it's on July 23rd to July 25th. And again, the educator symposium is the site has been already reserved, which is going to be at the Guam Museum, and it's during that time, and we'll send out the notices to the schools in advance, so they have notices, and I think we already have a list of registrants that are already have registered for the event, and so we should have a lot of individuals there in terms of being there. We're also planning an agricultural symposium. It's going to be October 8, 9, and 10. It's again at the Guam Museum, but we can look at other places because one of the things we want to do is we want to tie in the theme, which is home is where the habitat is, with the agricultural symposium, and that's during that time is the Farmers Awareness Month or something like that.
National Farmers Month.
Yeah, National Farmers Month during that time. So we want to tie all that in, and I don't know, Dr. Bob, if we can get any, and maybe we need to talk about it, but we need to bring part of that needs to be bringing technology into the mix, or the different types of equipment that's being used, and seeing we can get that here on Guam and exposing it to our farmers here on what they can do. And I don't know if you guys have any of that available.
Director Marlene has joined the meeting.
Oh, Director Marlene is on there on the meeting. We have 4 right now on the 4 directors. So we definitely have a quorum. Welcome, Director Revo. So it's
Thank you.
8, 9, and 10, and then we have Miss tomorrow that's coming up, which is March 1st to March 31st. There's events that are happening. The Department of Tomorrow Affairs is actually having some events that are there with all the schools coming in there for field trips. But one of the things they're planning is they're also planning some art. Artist showings and dance, visual art showings and dancing in there when they're doing that. And I don't know if we want to provide a staff, or we want to provide some presence. The high schools are also going to be there, and we can capture the high schools in terms of the students to be a part of the district in terms of what we're trying to do with our plans. And so let's move to the Treasurer's report. So Treasurer Regis.
Okay. I'm at my board meeting.
As of today, our balance in the checking account is $80,010.66. And in the savings account, it's $11,109.80. We received $43,292 from UOG. And then our salaries for the month of January totaled $6,905.10.
Oh my God.
Yes. So our total expense to date right now for the NECD is $22,000.
Well, let me backtrack because it's not on here. We did meet with our oversight chair, Senator Ada, who deals in the environment and also agriculture. But we also met within that is the committee, which was also Senator Calvo, and we did give her a briefing of what the district does, the Northern District, or what the districts do, and then what we can help in terms of supporting them, garnering their support, and knowing that we're there. So there's several things that Senator Ada had brought up. Part of that is we requested for us to convert the positions from a restricted employee contract to because that's what they are, to a limited term basis. You get the full-time, you get the benefits of being a government employee, but you can only be hired for a maximum of 1 year. But it's the same thing. You just you just redo it again for them.
Okay, so it's not a classified position then?
Okay, it's not part of the classified service, but you're entitled to all the benefits that the government employee will get.
Okay.
But he was talking about just on the limited term. It's a limited term employee.
So they're receptive to the idea?
Yeah, he's receptive to
great.
the idea.
Yeah.
I think we just need to come up with some type of things that we did. We did do some recommendations. I just wanted to bring up real quick the recommendations that the challenges and the recommendations that we did with them. In terms of it we said one of our challenges is the agricultural rural land development pressures, and we would like for them to redefine the policy to protect rural and agricultural land. One of the issues that we have is the Director of Agriculture has full jurisdiction to do an agricultural impact statement without any input from any of the parties and the stakeholders. He only has one.
Okay.
No, he gave it back to you.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought you needed it.
He's amenable to that. One of the things that we need to come up with is what are the lands that are zoned agricultural or rural, and in order to protect that, because one of the things that happens is that if we're not in the when we do the census, the U.S. Department of Census determines what areas are urbanized versus rural or agricultural, and USDA normally deals in only the agricultural arena area, not the urbanized part of it. So we're looking at one of the things to do is maybe help land management do a mapping of the entire area with the zones, so we can indicate what zones are there in terms of agricultural, rural. So that's one of the recommendations. Collaborations across jurisdiction. One of the recommendations we have is an interagency collaboration between through an MOA or MOU. The district court has actually, not district court, the Supreme Court or the judiciary has actually done that with all law enforcement agencies. They have a complete blanket of all the law enforcement agencies and agreed to with the judiciary branch in terms of that, and we can do something similar to that. There's an increase in invasive species, and one of the things we're recommending is to ban soil importation and further work on supporting the agencies that actually do the thing. We told them about the cooperative agreement that we have with APHIS, and then the other things that we're working with REPI in terms of also their area of expertise in terms of what they're doing with white buffalo. There's a foster aerial project with farmers, and we want to do a federal grant for that, but we need the cost for it. And so on that aerial project, there's already an ACUS. It's called Air Installation Compatibility Use Zone. It's a requirement by FAA even for military flights, and so they already set up ACUS zones for the island of Guam. There's areas that within those ACUS, they're restricted things that you cannot fly around if you're within that area, or you have to get permission, or you're restricted from doing that. And those are the things that we just need permission from FAA, not the military. It's FAA that you go to, because FAA controls that.
The no-fly, I'm sorry, excuse me, but the no-fly zone?
Okay.
We get clearance from FAA?
Yeah, because it's called the Federal, Aviation Administration. They actually deal with the aircraft installation and compatibility use zone.
Because we have a lot.
So the military, along with the government of Guam, like GAA, they have to come up with an ACUS. We've already done that. Actually, the military's already done that. So there's already ACUS zones that we know of on where their flight pattern. They cannot go out of their flight pattern without getting permission from the towers, who the towers work for? FAA. So that's where you get that, and that's where they do the restriction. But we can work that out at a later time when we turn around and get grants. And so the senator is saying that, okay, how much would that cost? And then what do we need to match? And so they can come in and match the amount. And he wants us to meet when we come back from our meeting in Utah. He wants us to meet again, but this time with the federal grants and how much can be matched with that. Restricted employee status, and I already talked about amending the law to change the status of our restricted employees and make them more of a limited service so they're eligible for all the health, insurance, and other benefits associated with what government employees get. The National Association and federal agency grant opportunities to Guam associations. We want an authorization to really form an actual state association so that those state associations can receive the grant, and maybe that's where the employees also can come from in terms of supporting our endeavor. And in terms of that, it's similar to what we have with the Guam Association of Conservation District. And so when we met with them, he was very amenable to it. He wants us to meet again with him when we come back on that. We have we're now in old business. We applied for the GITA QCCC program. For us, it's called the Huff by Mano series. And we already applied, and the application was due or submitted on January 23rd, 2025. And what it does is we do a video and a pamphlet on how to do things like how to make tuba. And so it becomes a part of it, and so we can tie in the University of Guam and other interested parties in terms of doing it and making it something like we can load it up in YouTube or we can load it up in wherever, so that our people get the idea of this. And that's a grant that's GITA has offered, and so we applied for that. We have the FY 2025 NGSWCD election coming up, which is the meeting, I guess, is in March. I already provided the staff with the rules that were already approved by the University of Guam Board of Regents, but they have to amend that because the law amended the actual what constitutes the North and what constitutes the South, and the rules have to govern that.
When is the planning meeting?
March, I guess.
Tentative March.
You don't have a firm date.
No firm date. I sent an email out to all the stakeholders in our committee, requesting to reschedule our meeting for March because that's when most of us are available, and I'm hoping to have it at least at the first week of March.
Okay, good. The university's strongest position on the planning for the election is that a registry of voters be in place before the election.
Yes, we totally agree. And if you read the Guam law, it requires that a registry be established and provided to the University of Guam, and that's what's used for electing the nominating and voting on the election of the thing. And it has to be a registry. The challenge you're going to have is our law has what constitutes a land occupier. A land occupier is a farmer, a landowner, or a land lessee. And you won't know about the landowners because we don't have a grantee listing from grantor grantee listing from the Department of Land Management. But there is a website that you could go to that Land Management has. It's called Guam EGIS, and it actually lists you can go in and list the name of the individual, and it'll tell you if they own land, and then where the land is located at. So it's broken down into municipalities. You can tell me it's Barragata, Dededu, Jigo, or whatever, and you can find out if the person owns the land. If the person doesn't own the land, of course they cannot vote, but that's how you can validate and then put that individual in the registry. And so you update the registry as you go along. But yes, I think June 30th is the deadline to submit the registry for both North and South in order for the election of that. And then July 15th is the date when it's open for nominations. And again, the person who nominates and the person who's nominated has to be on the registry. If they're not on the registry, you cannot nominate. And that's a verification that UOG needs to do. And so the nominator and the nominee has to be both on the registry and then on there. Now, the eligibility is that you just have to be a land occupier or a farmer or a land lessee. And so if you meet that definition, you can become a voter and on the election. And so the third week of August is the third Thursday? No, third Friday.
Savannah, do you know
the
the
19th.
date? August 19th?
Yeah, August 19th. Whatever August 19th date is the date that
Tuesday.
it's a Tuesday. So the third Tuesday by law that we have to have the election. So the third Tuesday. We've done this before, and the South. Actually, when Erica was with us on the North, and even in the South, they already set up a normal routine of how they do it, and I think it's normally 6 people are in there doing the greeters, then the verifiers, and then the handlers of the ballots, and then the escorter out to bring the individual out, so it becomes a quick movement. And I think the minimum individuals there working is 6, from what I can remember. And then of course you have to have a UOG representative present there, and so our staff is already going to be a part of that. And then we're also getting some what do you call them from
Joe, I think you have an excellent grasp of the process, but the planning needs to be a firm commitment to it. First week of March.
Yes. We will
Because
discuss more
nothing
details on the
advances
committee.
until the first meeting.
Okay, I mean, however you guys handle that, I'm just informing on my board that this is what's going to happen, or this is generally what's going to happen with the election. The election year this is the third year, so we have to have an election, and those are the dates. Those are the hard line dates of things that need to happen. July 15th and August 19th are hotline dates that have to occur no matter what. And then there's a closure of the nominees on there.
July 15th.
That's the opening.
But all of this will be discussed at the committee
There'll
meeting
be
as well,
a discussion
for
there.
everyone in the involved.
So I provided all the information to both Savannah and Jenilyn, so they'll have the information there. The only amendment that UOG has to do is comply with the requirements of law setting the district boundaries on there. Let me see. We have the Hudson Ahmed partnership. Of course, there was a meeting with COTCs so that we can work with doing a medicine garden at a location, and we're looking at the Fidian location. But I worked at land management, so there's a problem there because I don't remember them transferring the land to the government of Guam. It was a requirement by the Land Use Commission for them to set aside land as a natural preserve area or natural conservation reserve area, but it wasn't transferred to the government of Guam. And so if you look at the golf course, you drive to the side of the golf course. There's an actual overlook there. It's a park, but it's not. I know for a fact it wasn't transferred because I actually did that. But COTC is claiming it as theirs, but there's a covenant on that piece of property. We tried to get NGOs to adopt it and be a part of it to maintain it, or try to get the Leo Palace Resorts, which own the golf course, which is Manila Golf Resort, to maintain that area, because we have tourists going there and it looked like crap, literally. But anyways, we met with them, and what they want us to do is provide a project plan to the board, and then we can sign a memorandum of agreement or understanding with them, the COTC, and then we can work together with that. But I need to do a little bit more research to validate the ownership of that particular property area. For the WPBC partnership foundation partnership, there was an issue that happened. We've got an after action report from White Buffalo, which went to REPI and then came over to us, and it had a negative. It made it clear, White Buffalo made it clear they will not deal with WPBC because they didn't follow the rules, the training rules in order to do the things that needed to be done. And so they sent us a formal notice informing us that they will no longer deal with WBBC Foundation. They'll deal with us, but they won't deal with WPBC Foundation, dealing with the feral swine management with white buffalo. And so we have to formally inform WPBC that foundation that there's an issue with what happened, and it came out of white buffalo and of course to REPI. And so we have an issue with one of our partners, which is REPI, DOD REPI, and then we're meeting with them formally in the annual meeting in Salt Lake City. And that's going to be a topic of discussion also for us in terms of how do we get involved, because they still want to continue on with the feral swine eradication or management, and seeing how the North can fit into the mix. But we're having a meeting with them at the NACD side of the house. And so when we go there, we're planning. There's already a set meeting date and time that we're gonna meet with them. But I need to send out the notice to WPBC Foundation about what's happening with that in terms of discontinuing that partnership relative to the feral swine management and eradication. On the RCPP,
Good question.
yes,
What is the WPBC?
it's the
Region.
Western Pacific
Veterans. I think community. Marlene, Director Riva.
She left. She had another meeting to go to.
Okay.
Sorry,
Western Pacific Veterans Community Foundation. Western Pacific Veterans. Mm-hmm.
They're an actual NGO, but what we did was we worked out with them to do it. We actually had several meetings with them, setting them the ground rules that, when white buffalo comes in. One of the things we wanted to do, aside from with APHIS, is we want to continue our relationship with APHIS. But our problem that we had was we needed to build capacity. And so one of the ways to build capacity was working with REPI to build that capacity. And REPI was recommending that they contracted out white buffalo to do the job. And so we were meeting with white buffalo, and one of the things we wanted to do is do a train up with them in terms of it. So we got this organization. Actually, we wanted the organization to also do a training with APHIS, but white buffalo came in and said, okay, we'll do the train up at this time. We got the WPBC involved. We actually, part of our RCPP grant was supposed to be part of helping them out in terms of that, but because of the after action report that we got back from white buffalo and REPI, we can't. There was a liability issue and they didn't follow the training guidance that was provided by both the district and the white buffalo, that put us in jeopardy. And so, they're not going to listen. And even though it's only a training, you just have to follow the training. We had a problem. One of the things they were doing was capturing the pig and selling it.
That's the problem.
And that's the problem. You can't do that. If they become in charge at a later time, and they have the training that was done, they can make the arrangements with that, but just as long as a liability is signed. But this was a train up, and they failed the train up totally. So anyways, we're discontinuing that particular partnership. We still want to partner with them on other things, but we're going to just discontinue that partnership, especially with the feral swine side of the house. And then
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Again, the board, we need to look at the RCPP. We have to sign the programmatic agreement, and so we need for our board members to look at it, and then we need to vote on it to accept the programmatic agreement as written. And our district manager has sent it out to us, so we need to review it. Please, when we get back from our annual meeting, hopefully everybody can review it, and we'll send out a reminder to review it, and when the deadline would be to provide input so we can make modifications. And then when we meet in March, we can turn around and approve the programmatic agreement and move forward with issuing out the grants to the respective areas, or getting the money so we can start the process of executing the RCPP grant. It's 700,000, by the way, in terms of money that we're using. Any question on old business? If there's no questions, let's move into new business. We have the what is this?
Kick the fat.
Yeah, Kick the Fat wellness. I think it's the run, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a Kick the Fat wellness run, March 15, 2025, and they're outreaching for food security, and we need a vote on this in terms of supporting the Kick the Fat program, which is Kick the Fat is actually who does that? Is that Payless?
Payless is the corporate sponsor, and it's basically a 5K run, and it attracts several thousand people early in the morning. It's a good thing.
So we need to know if we want to become a sponsor of that, and part of that is they're outreaching for food security.
Or overall environmental. They're trying to touch on environmental wellness and all that stuff, and I believe the district can outreach in regards to food security and the importance of that.
So I need a motion to support the Kick the Fat 2025 and support this endeavor.
I'll make a motion to support the Kick the Fat 2025
wellness run.
Wellness run March 15 on March 15. Is that it? That's the March 15.
Yes.
Yes.
I second.
There's a motion on the floor to support for the district to support the Kick the Fat 2025 wellness run on March 15, 2025. Made by Director Tanaka, seconded by Treasurer Regis. One of the things we need to add into that condition is we need to know what the cost would be in terms of supporting that. And so hopefully our district manager can come back and tell us what the cost would be, because we want to make sure that cost is not too much, and we can move from there. It's open for discussion. If there's any discussion?
No.
If there's no discussion, let's make a motion. All in favor of the motion to approve the Kick the Fat 25 wellness run, say aye.
Aye.
Richard Tanaka?
Aye. I just wasn't loud enough.
Yeah, the ayes have it. The ayes have it. It's unanimous. Let's move forward. The motion carries. Okay, so the next thing we have is the UOG-CIS conference, Solutions for Our Future Sponsorship. And one of the things they were asking us, or they sent a notice to us, is to be a partner. And I don't know if the board wants to be a partner to this. This is going to be occurring on April 7th to the 12th of this year. And again, this is a UOG Center for Island Sustainability a conference, and the sponsorship, the top sponsorship is 25,000 plus. The bottom sponsorship is 1,500 minimum in terms of doing that. And they were asking for us if we wanted to sponsor. What do you guys think, board members?
Yes, I agree.
You agree what?
That we should sponsor the UOG-CIS conference.
Okay, but what's the amount to sponsor?
Let's look at our budget and then we'll get back to you on that. How's that?
Okay, so
yeah,
so,
we used to sponsor them
yes.
in the past.
Right.
So,
What was it? Previous sponsor?
Go ahead, Director Tom.
No, I'm just asking. You said we used to sponsor this event. I'm just asking what was our amounts, our sponsorship amounts previously?
10 grand.
But because, I know 10,000, but because we have a lot of projects, we're committed to them. That's why I would like to review first our
Okay,
budget before we commit anything.
Okay, why don't we approve that we're gonna do a sponsorship,
Okay,
but we'll come back with the caveat that we determine the funding availability and how much we can participate in the sponsorship. Now, our district manager will provide the listing of the sponsorship, and then go from there in terms of seeing the funding availability for us to participate in this particular event. Again, we don't, like you said, we don't want to overcommit ourselves, but we need to verify if we can. The minimum that we'll do in the sponsorship is $1,550, I think, right?
1,500.
1,500 is the minimum, and so we'll look towards that as the minimum, and then we'll determine what is it that we can further support them on, because we have other events that are occurring within our thing, and we need to make sure funding is available for that. So we have a motion on the floor to sponsor or to become a co-sponsor or a sponsor for the Center for Island Sustainability conference made by Treasurer Regis, with the caveat to determine if where we're at in terms of funding availability. Do I have a second motion?
I'll make a second motion.
Okay, the motion has been seconded by Director Tanaka. Open for discussion. If there's no further discussion, all in favor of the motion to support the Center for Island Sustainability conference, say aye.
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 I know this is after the motion, but do we have any like past flyers or brochures or data on that can be circulated?
Yeah, actually, we'll send it out to you. It lists the different levels of sponsorship and what it entails, and we'll also send out.
Actually, I'm just looking for who are the vendors that participated previously, or participants and sponsors, and really what was what was the event like? You know what I mean?
Right, on the last conference that we had with the Center for Island Sustainability, the governor's office went and funded it 100%. So it was funded 100% by the governor's office. Actually, that was 2 years. The governor's office funded it. But one of the issues that I had with the Center for Island Sustainability conference that they had, it was only a university audience, not
island-wide.
Not island-wide. Before it used to be island-wide. You had all the different organizations coming in. And so you're right. We need to find out more about the sponsorship, who's going to be there in terms of the audience, because one of the things we want to do is support the event, but does the event do an outreach enough to get all the different stakeholders from Guam to participate in the event itself?
And the interest. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What? Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. The interest. The reason I'm interested is, maybe the co-op can participate, and feature some of the, some of their farmers, I don't know if that's, what the conference is like. So that's why I'm interested in seeing what the event was like in the past, the recent past. So, we'll provide you the information, and you can bring it up to the Farmers Cooperative, because you recently got elected, and I think your chair is still Mike Uggan, right? Yeah. Well, the election hasn't been confirmed, but yes. No, the election has been confirmed. I received a notice about who was the top 7 that made it to the. That was on the. Who sent you the notice? Because I didn't know that. So I wasn't. I know there were some questions, but okay, that's news to me. Okay, I don't know. They sent me a confirmed list of who made who were selected for or who won in the voting for the Farmers Co-op, and
they sent me a list and said, this is the official list. So I said, okay, this is it. But, bottom line is that, at the time, and I think still now until they get sworn in, is your chair is still Director Mike Uggan, right?
That's correct.
So he's
The election will happen after the swearing in. Once
right.
the board is
elected,
sworn in, then the election for officers can happen.
Of the Farmers Co-op. And so, but what we'll do is we'll send it to you because you're part of our board and you can take that.
Yeah, I'm just interested in trying to expand that. That.
No, I agree because it's a Center for Island Sustainability. What's the subject?
Exactly.
Solutions for our future. Based on my experience of being at CIS.
Yes, he was a speaker.
Okay, that's on other items, but being in attendance there, they've never had farmers or featured farmers as much as they should, and I think that would be a great opportunity for FCAG to participate, as well as the district to share what we have to offer these off-island participants as well.
I agree.
But we'll send it out to you.
Thank you very much.
And then you can get with the Farmers Co-op on that. Okay?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to support gentlemen that, yes, that's a very good emphasis, is to return their focus to food production or crop production, food security. They're drifting away to other environmental concerns that aren't as important.
Yeah,
I agree. And when I attended that and I was listening into the subject matter and then looking at the audience, I was saying they're going downhill, not improving, and so they need to go back. And you're right, refocus why they have that conference.
Yeah.
In terms of it was actually a really good, awesome conference, and this is why I think when people looked at it, it was something worthwhile to attend. But lately they went woke. They need to go unwoke.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll move from there, and I'm going to the next item on the agenda. It's the NOAA Coastal Habitat Restoration and Resilience Grant. We need to discuss the project ideas that are there, and then we're going to apply on May 12, 2025. This is one of the things we want to bring up to the senator because this is going to require matching, and we have to make sure that whatever we have the staff to support it and the partners to participate in this particular grant. This is part of the Water Planning Committee effort in terms of that. And again, this is the Coastal Habitat Restoration and Resilience Grant. Jen, do you have any ideas on what we can do with this?
For the coastal habitat restoration and resilience, that's our goal for that one and what we want to apply for, other than workshops and educating the community about the non-source point pollution, is to do more tree plantings around the coastal areas of the northern region. And that could be another growth similar to what G3 is doing already, which is the restoration projects that they're doing in Manel, but more so in the north. That's the current idea. But I know we need to go a little deeper into what we can do further.
I know, but we need to, because one of the things that we have a problem with is like the feral swine and the deer, where they disturb the grounds, and so the impact. You can do a land restoration, but if you don't remove the invasives out of there, then we're gonna have a problem. And I don't know how we can tie in maybe getting additional funding where we can APHIS can hire an additional personnel and to do that particular thing. We have a little bit more opportunity for capturing more feral swine or removing the feral swine, and then instead of management, we go into eradication, and we need to get with Chad and get a more specific costing of having another team on board. How much would that cost? because this money is federal money, and we can actually use it for that also. So maybe we could tie that in, not only tree planting, but as part of tree planting, we hire an additional staff pursuant to our cooperative agreement that will go out and actually do the capture of the feral swine. And again, the NOAA grants are not northern centric. Even though we're going to apply for it, they're actually Guam centric, meaning the focus has to be on Guam, not just the north area. And so that we're going to have to include the southern end into the mix and see if the southern wants to be a part of this particular grant side of the house. Is the south still on there?
Yes.
Erica, what do you think?
Regarding the NOAA grant, Chairman?
Yes.
Yeah, we did get notice of the award, the grant funding opportunity. So we are looking into it, and a lot of it is to help complement the feral swine efforts that we have currently, like what you just mentioned. So we're willing to look at some ways we can collaborate. If it's going to help the case. Maybe we can talk offline or to discuss.
Okay. Actually, that'll be great. We'll get with Chad and then with you guys and see how we can work together to do it, because in the end it benefits both the north and the south. And again, we cannot turn around and say, oh, we're applying just for the north. It has to be Guam, total Guam, total Guam island. It can't be just separated. So we actually need to collaborate on this in order to get it done. But yeah, we'll do it, and maybe we can meet before the grants due and work on it from there. But that's great. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks.
I appreciate it. And Chad, what do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting because I assume it's kind of be like more of on a watershed basis where you're working specifically on a particular watershed type project. Is that what you're thinking on this kind of thing, or?
Well, it's a land restoration also, Brad.
So in the States, the feral swine program does these special projects where you do like an eradication on a delineated watershed. And so we have, all that stuff here on that map there where you concentrate on eradication, you do all these restoration efforts, specific to a watershed. And so I asked about that because they give specific project monies for that in the States. And I was told we don't do that for the territories.
Well,
So
they're doing it now.
Think of this, but this would be a similar,
Similar,
it sounds like,
yeah.
but it would come from a different pot of money, obviously.
Yes,
But
it's a NOAA grant
great.
opportunity, and we can work that out. Maybe UOG can come in terms of the cooking of the feral swine and tie that in, and in terms of using. But I don't know if if Agnes is willing to allow that to happen.
Happy to accommodate you guys however we can.
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Again, we have attached the different district forms that we're using, and as you well know, if you look at it, there's the ACH, the liability, the GSA mileage, equipment rental lead form, and the letter of officiation for district members, before the PE performance evaluation, and the employee personal information form that we have. Board members, you need to look at that, and then we need to approve these forms. By the way, for the Northern Guam, especially in the mileage law, that's actually a duplicate of University of Guam's form. So we're not reinventing the wheel. We're using the current law and forms that are already available, taking those forms and using those forms as a way to make sure that we do things proper. In reality, we should be paying our staff when they go do something official or in transit to something official, not necessarily coming to work, but when they're going to a tasking and they're using their vehicle to get there. Maybe one of the things you could do in one of the grants is buy a vehicle for the district. We could do that, but bottom line is we still have to approve these forms. Why don't we do it in March? while the board members look at it and see if it's good to go and if there's any changes that happen there. Generally, you already send this out to the board members
Yes.
so they can look at it. So please review it and look at it and let's go from there in terms of approving that. Hopefully the South also has the same forms or same type of form that they use, but as the Northern District, as a separate entity, we need to still have our form that we need to use, and so this is why I need for you guys to review it, look at it, and then approve it, and we'll approve it in the March meeting. I need to get a go to hire the administrative assistant and the conservation associates from the board. Once we get that approved in terms of, because the position description was sent out, once we get the approval, we'll just send it out, and we have 30 days from once we announce it to get applicants, and then we can go on and hire the administrative assistant and the conservation associate. So I need their motion on the floor to approve the hiring of the conservation associate and the administrative assistant. By the way, the administrative assistant can only be hired on a part-time basis, not a full-time basis, because of the funding availability, and that's where we can get with Senator Ada to bring that up. He's very amenable to allowing us to hire
I'm sorry.
further employees on there, but we have to give the costing and then tied to projects that we're working out on it. He was actually impressed with what the districts are actually doing, and he's heard good things about us. So, I mean, we're becoming too well known, and our best, we're not the best kept secret anymore. So, I need a motion from the board to approve the hiring of the conservation associate and the administrative assistant. The administrative assistant will report to the district manager, and the conservation associate will report to. There's an outreach specialist also. So there's three things over here. The conservation associate will report to the conservation technician, and the outreach specialist will report to the district manager. So
I'll make
a motion for. Okay, go ahead, Kat.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Director Tom.
So I'll make the motion to approve the hiring for the three positions of conservation associate, assistant, and what was the third one?
Outreach specialist.
Outreach specialist.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to approve the hiring of three employees, the conservation associate, administrative assistant, and the outreach specialist, made by Director Tanaka, seconded by Treasurer Regis. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Are we discussing it?
Well, it's open for discussion. Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, so just I don't know if this is part of that, the hiring, but you made a comment about buying a car and having them paid, while they're in transit. But do they get paid? Are they also paid when they're representing the district in the events? I mean, if it's after hours or, on the weekends. Since they're getting paid in movement of work for the district, which I would think includes if they're working, if it's, after normal working hours on the weekends, which I think we have.
Okay, so the government of Guam, under the Fair Labor Standards Act, or even on the private sector, has something called exempt and non-exempt employees. The government of Guam and even the federal government has defined what constitutes exempt and non-exempt employees, because the Fair Labor Standards Act made it clear that you have to have that. The difference between an exempt and non-exempt employee is one is salaried and you're only paid for your skill set and your performance, and the other one is you're paid hourly. The administrative assistant under Guam law is actually an exempt employee, just like the district manager and the conservation technician. They're bigwigs, and so they're being paid for their skill set. So it doesn't matter if they work 40 hours or 60 hours a week. they're being paid for their skill set, not for their professional skill set, not for they're not hourly employees.
Yeah, okay.
So more than likely the conservation associate would be an hourly employee, and we have to monitor the time. And so before our staff, before we brought up the issue of exempt and non-exempt, one of our staff was saying, collecting compensatory time accrued, and hello, you're not eligible for that. But anyways, we have to move forward for that, get that going, and get that removed out of the way, and then move forward from there. But that's the difference. We're not our individuals are not. There's no overtime or no compensatory time accrued.
Okay,
No
just
or night differential, but we do in the law are allowed compensatory time.
No.
Yes.
No. No. You're,
okay. Just circulate the legislation. I guess.
Yeah.
Believe me, when
Will do.
I went to court for this, my brother went to court actually, and so I was involved in it, and that's how I know about the difference and what happened with Guam. Literally they paid my brother buku money because he was doing more than the work, and so that's when the government of Guam was required by federal court to define the Fair Labor Standards Act to define what was exempt and non-exempt employees. And that's how I know the issue of what's happening. But anyways, we'll look it up. We'll provide it to our
Look at it now.
our board members, and we'll go through it. Let's do that.
I have a different question about the positions.
Oh, yes.
Okay, maybe I can help recruit for the outreach specialist and the conservation associate. So that's why I asked, would you prefer a college graduate, somebody with a bachelor's degree, or not? Because it lists a high school diploma.
We are open as long as they're experienced.
So their experience is the important part.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any particular majors in college that you would like to give?
Marketing and agriculture, definitely communications.
How about environmental science?
Environmental science, yes. Having that baseline knowledge would be very important.
Okay.
Maybe Chad can apply on temporary basis.
I'm looking. Part-time basis.
Okay, and I think it says they have to have a foreign driver's license.
Yes.
Okay, and it says work location, district office, comma, hybrid work. What do you mean by hybrid?
I mean, you may work at home,
Yeah.
or we may have you at a different site location. An example is we may have you tie into NRCS or may tie into APHIS, and that's where your work location will be at, because that's going to be the job task that's given to you. So the hybrid is that you're going to be working outside of different site locations. Yes.
Erica has a question.
Yes. Erica?
Will they have to have a business license? Are your employees hired as a contractual service type?
Yeah. As required by law, all our employees have to be restricted employees, they have to have a business license in order to work with us on what we're doing, and that's where we met with Senator Ada to change that. And Senator Ada has agreed to review it, look at it, and see if we can bring them under a limited term basis, like an annual basis,
Mm-hmm.
and then renew their contract on the annual basis, but have them be eligible for the benefits and insurance that a normal employee would actually get.
But
so hopefully before the end of the year, that will go in and amend it, and then we can actually formally change the status of our employees to, and it's going to apply to both the North and the South, because they have to change the law to say that, and that was a consensus by both senators that we met with that showed up, and and we brief them, they agree that they want to do that type of thing. As a matter of fact, the limited term basis action for 1 year was Senator Ada's recommendation to do, and so he wants to be able to help, but he needs to do it in a way where it's not going to take away from the personnel system and the opportunity for us in terms of funding side of the house. Does that answer your question?
I guess my follow-up question is, being that employees, because the federal categorization is very strict, isn't it? If employees are receiving a 1099, they're considered contractors. And doesn't a contractor then require a different procurement process? EOG handles our employees now, so we are hired through the University of Guam, but we also do the W-2s and have a tax.
We're also doing that same thing in terms of contracting, but we're not having EOG do it. We're handling it ourselves in terms of it, just as long as we comply with the personnel regulation and the Fair Labor Standards Act in terms of how we deal with the employees. Again, you're right, they're contracted employees. They're not government employees. As a matter of fact, they're not government employees. So they're not governed under the government umbrella. They're actual, like you said, they have to have a business license, and we contract them out to do a certain tasks associated with it. And that's where, and the recommendation or a recommendation to the senator is to change their status to make them covered under the government of Guam umbrella.
Yeah, I think we definitely would support that, especially to ensure that employees are categorized as employees and not as contractors, because that's what's currently the current staff is.
So normally an employee may say they're paid this hour, but when you look at the benefits tied to it, there's like 25%. You add on 25% because the health insurance, the life insurance, and the other things associated with what's required for an employee will be covered down on them. So an employee that's getting let's say 70 grand, we may have to add in an additional 10 grand to that, because that's the total cost for employee benefits associated with that. So it's going to cost more to have a limited term employee than a restricted employee. And so we have to look at that. And that's one of the things in the discussion with Senator Ada, because if we're going to tie an employee who's receiving federal grants into that, there's going to be a problem, because we have to make sure that that's covered down. But seeing how we can make sure we protect the employee from making sure we keep them for a long-term basis on the project itself. We want to make sure that that's covered down also.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, I think that clarifies. I was just more concerned on because currently the staff is considered contractors, not employees, right? So that's request for a proposal over services that are being rendered over $25,000. Wouldn't that require an RFP process? So I'm just trying to see how we can. You got to look at our law.
You got to look at our law and how we do that. You're thinking that they're contract employees, but if you read our law, it says they're restricted employees on there. So how we hire them is we just have to meet the due process side of the house. And you're thinking of contract employees because in the end you're signing a contract. But if you read our law, they're restricted employees.
Yes.
They're not eligible for anything. They have to have a business license. We hire them as they were a contract, and this is what they're going to do for a year, because it's a year-to-year basis. It's based upon on the budget year, and so that's where we go from there. We've done that since the district has always begun. We sent out the announcement. You were hired on when we hired you initially. It was going out putting out the notice for the job description, setting it out, announcing it, and then waiting 30 days, getting the application submitted in, and then reviewing it and making sure we follow the due process, which is having a selection committee, and then going from there to the board, and the board approves the hiring
Right.
of the employee.
So I'm speaking from experience that is not the best way, because these are employees, they have employee functions, so they should be issued a W-2 opposed to a 1099. And with the FICA can still be incorporated. They won't get any benefits, but that's just my concern, is just categorizing correctly. You're right. It's restricted employees, so they should be called and categorized as they are, meaning getting a W-2, not a 1099 with a business license, because then it shows that that's a contractor status contract.
That's the way our law reads. We cannot just go and hire an employee and say this is it, because they're receiving money and they're restricted. But anyways, we can talk about that in a later time.
Definitely, let's research.
We submit the thing to Senator Ada as to our what we agree upon in terms of the changing the status of the employee from restricted to maybe limited term. And so again, we can get back on that. There's another grant funding that's available, is the coral reef stewardship. Yes, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, some quick follow-up questions to Erica's points. Would the successful outreach specialist and conservation associate be paid by the hour or a salary?
An outreach specialist, and I need to look at the associate.
Yeah.
Because when you look at we took the position off the federal.
Yeah.
Federal positions. I need to find out if they're the exempt or not exempt in terms of the conservation associate. Okay. The outreach specialist is I think an exempt employee, so that's going to be paid not by hour but salary basis.
Okay. And then, do they receive any benefits? Medical, retirement?
Okay, the restricted employees, they don't receive any benefits.
No benefit. Okay.
But because
except workers' compensation.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The Coral Reef Stewardship Fund grant. Again, we need project ideas. This is due February 12th, so we have to work quickly on it. Can you give more input into, because this is a climate smart mitigation type of grant in terms of the activities that we want to go in. You want to talk more about it, Jen?
Yes, so for the Coral Reef Stewardship Fund grant, usually they're for, coral reefs, but this time around they're including like ridge to reef items. So in this particular grant, they have connected with the districts kind of personally asking us if we could apply to as well, because in this time around they have received additional funding from NRCS where we could similarly how we conduct the perimeter fencing grant, we can do so with this Coral Reef Stewardship Fund grant. But in this time, they are including climate smart mitigation activities, which are CSP items. So I had met with one of their organizers this morning via Google Meet, and she said that we can apply those, and it's basically the same concept of how we apply for the same grants under NRCS with NACD, and touching on our local farmers on how they can reduce runoff going into the reefs. So that's the main basis of what we can apply for in this grant. Also giving financial assistance to the farmers as well.
And maybe what we can do is help them in their land in terms of making sure that there's no erosion that occurs within it, to protect to keep the land in good shape, especially the soil side of the house. And again, she's talking about ridge to reef, so we can work on that. It's due February 12th, so we need to actually.
It's a pre-proposal.
Yeah, the pre-proposal is due February 12th. The idea of what we want to do is actually due February 12th. But then I think it's in April or March that it's due. And so with the final thing, but we need to submit we need to show, submit an interest that this is what we're trying to do, what the project idea is. And, part of that can be tying into, again, feral swine management and eradication because it's rich to breathe. Side of the house. Okay, miscellaneous matters. We're done with the coral reef side of the house. We'll discuss that. And then, miscellaneous matters,
Yeah, I do. I have. First one I wanted to ask was because I wanted to include in our MOU for the feral swine, also the feral pigeons, because we do have a problem with the pigeons up north with the farms. And so I spoke with Chad about this, and I like Chad's input on this, whether we need to prepare a new MOU to address the feral pigeon problems, because these pigeons, they're a pest up at the northern farms. And so right now where they're at is at the American Grocery. And so we would like to allocate, review again our budget and approach this other feral problem.
I think you have a problem with birds because we have a problem with the.
But I like to enter into an MOU with APHIS for feral pigeons as well.
Director Viva, I brought up the issue of feral dogs to try to tie that in because we have a problem with dogs also.
Dogs are protected. Feral pigeons are not. Dogs are protected. You feed a dog, that dog is yours. You kill a chicken, you're going to pay the price for that because chickens are also protected. But feral pigeons, they're just like the feral pigs. They're free game. And so it is a problem for the farmers. And I would like to enter into an MOU.
But before we do that, we need to find out more because then that opens us up to other funding opportunities if we know more about it and the impact that it's causing. And is there something that shows that an actual impact?
Yes, it does because it's affecting the farms and the funding will come from the RCPP. That's where the funding will come. And it will be a separate funding rather than using the funding from the feral swine. It will be a separate funding for the feral pigeons.
Well, again, we need to know.
That's why I'm bringing it up. And I'm glad Chad was here because we need to address this problem. But that's not why he's here. He's not here for that, but I'm glad he's here. But we need to address this issue as well, the feral pigeons.
Okay, I agree. We need to address all the different.
And I could do a survey with the farmers up north because those pigeons are really a nuisance to farmers.
I was thinking of getting pigeons.
But you're not going to let them. You're going to keep them caged, or you're going to let them loose. Is the question.
Oh,
no,
Joe.
when the chairman just made a comment, he's thinking of getting.
Yeah, I seriously. There was a pigeon that I was looking at next door, and I was thinking, man, I would like to have pigeons.
Go look at American Grocery. You know pigeons?
No, then build an aviary. I mean, even like David Lujan has a big aviary down in Chile.
Anyways, they pose health risks. These pigeons.
But we just like I mentioned before. We need to find out more about it so that we can actually have a foundation to move forward.
So let's do some more research on this, and
we can do that. Then
I agree with what, because I'll tell you what, my neighbor likes to feed pigeons, and she or birds. She likes to feed birds, and she leaves her Payless styrofoam trays out there with the rice or the food on it, and then it blows over to my side, and then the birds are always defecating on my truck, so I'm not very happy. So
Yeah, I have a problem with that. I have to constantly wash my
there you go.
my car down, but that's the price you pay with trying to take care of wildlife.
He wasn't taking care.
Well, it's her responsibility, right? I mean, I got a solution, but they may not like it, but
Oh, we're open for solutions. Absolutely. Okay.
Well, I will say, it's certainly something we could do and entertain when you guys decide what you may or may not want to do. It's right down our alley. Pigeons are still considered invasive species as well. Really, they're.
There you go. Thank you, Chad.
Maybe we do some work.
Sorry,
In fact,
Mr.
I
Joe.
just signed a contract with
God, man, you guys are mean.
Sorry, just kidding.
Excuse me, they told
Me.
Thank
yes.
we are starting to do some work with the Guam Memorial Hospital, with some pigeon control work there as well. So it is down our alley.
Are you also dealing with human invasives?
No.
That's illegal.
I'm just saying that it's a possibility if it's something we wanted to roll.
Can you provide any input or any documentation dealing? Because you say it's
Invasive.
invasive. So okay, why is it invasive? Do
Doesn't
you
have
have
to be
any
nice.
references on that? So we can review it
Well,
and look
they're
at it.
introduced species. They're not.
Of
native.
course, they're not native, but you said that the APHIS can work on it. So the APHIS has to have some type of
Is there any
reference
diseases
materials
or-
that indicates that, and we can look at it and say, okay, these are some of the issues that's
Sure, I
happening,
could probably provide
and then
some.
maybe Katrina, Director Regis, can go out and find out, do a survey of the impacts of what the impacts are of
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
I can tell you from my past experience working in Nebraska and other places, the human health and safety issue is easily documented through disease transmission through droppings and dropping accumulations. That's easily documented, and you could easily point to that. I have worked in other places where, particularly like cattle feedlots and other places where there was a lot of grain situations where pigeons were definitely a nuisance. We don't have that as much here in Guam. I don't know specifically, the agricultural damage that we're talking about here.
See, we
Typically it's associated with, grains where they're
I mean,
eating grains,
part of that.
or they're roosting in barns or other buildings around farms.
I mean,
Very
part of that we can
unfortunate.
apply for like a technical assistance that will do a study, and maybe we can get UOG to do the study to determine if the impact that it has. But in order for us to do that, we need information to go, and we need some confirmed information that we can move forward with that, because we're going to have to invest employee time and resources towards that end state when we're already dealing with the feral swine and the feral humans.
There's a lot of studies already. Why reinvent the wheel?
I'm not saying
You just mentioned
hello,
that.
we just need it.
So,
Tell me what you want and I can provide you some.
Thank you, Chad.
Okay. So
Okay.
great. So we'll Director Regis will get with you on getting the information so you can provide it to the board, and we can look at it and move forward with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Another miscellaneous item is it's miscellaneous, and I'll just give you highlights. The GACD met, the working group meeting met yesterday, and so Mike, the chair, has agreed to return the funds of $47,227. And then he's also agreed to meet with the GACD meeting after the districts return back from the NACD meeting. So this looks like it's a step in the right direction. We're going to more discussions, and of course we're going to get resolutions. There was a request for an amendment for the bylaws, and that was made by Angie Mendiola. And we're going to get into that. But these are just highlights of what transpired, so that is good. The problem we had with that meeting yesterday is Marlene, our director, made false statements, and I'd like for you to talk to her about it, because I went and verified what she said yesterday in that meeting, and it was completely false. She needs to verify her facts before she shares any information at a meeting. So please, Chair, you need to talk to Marlene about that.
Can I get some records of that, so that when I go to her, I'll just talk to her about it.
Yeah.
That you're right. She can't. No director should go out and talk, especially at formal events about things that are not on a factual basis, and
This is not
because
the first time
because
she's done
it represents the district, and we don't want that to occur. But we'll talk about it. Yes.
Erica has a question.
Yes,
Okay.
Erica?
Half a day. Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you, Director Katrina, for meeting with us and providing the highlights. I can also draft up some meeting notes from that meeting and that work session rather, and send that over to you and the boards for further review. Just to clarify, yes, we did agree that we will reimburse the amount, in the amount of $27,227. That was the amount that the Southern District received. The other remaining $20,000 was returned directly to NACD so that they could reappropriate the funding to both the North and the South. So the amount of $27,000 will be returned, with also the exception that the North will reimburse the South as well, for Jenna Lynch travel that was covered under the TA 2020 grant. So just for clarification. But yeah, it was a great meeting, and I agree that it's one step closer to a resolution, and we just really appreciate the time and input from you, Director Katrina.
Yeah.
I can provide the board with the notes as well.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. On helping and trying to resolve the GACD's issue, especially with what's going on. And you're right. We need to meet to form the association and change the bylaws that will allow maybe the registry to be the membership.
Well, Angie Mangiola suggested that we invite outside entities and individuals to be part of the
But that's how we have to do is
and that will, take care of the problem, because that's the problem right now, that it's just exclusive North and South. But if we invite other entities and individuals outside the district, it will take care of
but that will take care of it with the registry. In order for a board member, the board member also has to be on that registry.
Oh yeah.
So
Both
the board
North
members
and
and
South.
everything involves everybody that's on that registry, and there you've already removed the issue of the board itself.
Okay.
But anyways, we can discuss. I think you guys are setting up meetings to discuss the amendments of the bylaws and how to move on that. And thank you for.
But I have one more
for that.
issue. I just noticed it that Marlene Revo, the director, she left our meeting, and I don't think that's right. If for her to get paid a stipend, you need to attend the meeting in its entirety, and she left early on in the meeting. And that also needs to be addressed, and I don't believe that she should be paid a stipend at all for attending this meeting. She just came in and then left.
Okay, I'll discuss that. I'll discuss it. Thank you very much. Okay, so yes,
Mr. Chair, just since we were just talking about Marlene, did she ever submit her letter?
No.
Okay, so I think when we met several months ago, the plan was she was supposed to submit a letter to the board to review, and then, as long as and it was really just supposed to be a real simple one paragraph, or not a 3-4 page document, just acknowledging her, haste in reaching out to really the governor's office, the AG, the OPA, and the senator's office. And then just have the board review the letter, and then just to then, if we accepted the letter, then she was supposed to then send it out. And since I guess she doesn't feel this is an urgent matter or a high priority, I don't know what is the next step with her, because obviously she's had more than enough time to prepare and serve.
What we'll do is we'll bring it up on the March board meeting, because we don't want to bring it up in the partners meeting, but we'll bring it up in the next board meeting. But
But I think you should write a letter. For me, honestly, you're right. It shouldn't be part of the partners meeting, but I think you should formally send her a letter and ask her position, because what's going to happen is we're going to meet in March, and then she says, then it's going to go to the next meeting. I think we've given her more than enough time to do what she needed to do. And if she doesn't want to do it, then what's our recourse?
Okay.
Further sanction.
Well, yeah, you can do that.
She's already, but obviously it doesn't bother her, right? So,
no, you can refer
what's the recourse now, right? If she doesn't do anything.
You can refer to the Ethics Commission.
Okay, then basically we should if that's the case, then I agree. I mean that's I guess maybe we should look at the minutes and find out what we agreed to, and if she didn't submit it, then maybe that's the position now. Instead of writing her letter, just report it to the Ethics Commission. I don't know. I think you should.
Let me get more input and by the partners meeting, I'll get the information to the board members, and we can move forward from there.
Okay? I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yes.
So our next meeting is February 25th, 2025. That's our partners meeting. And then we have the regular board meeting on March 4th, 2025. Can you, Jen, can you make sure you set it, because Senator Addis said right after we come back, he wants to meet with us. So.
Okay, sorry. I just saw Erica? Comment. Go ahead, Erica.
Sorry, I don't want to keep the board any further, but being that I am attending, I really, by our mandate, we're supposed to keep each other abreast of the different activities we have going on, and I think we've been doing great by attending each other's meetings. And thank you to Savannah for attending our partner meeting last week. I know Chairman Joe and Director Norma and Jenna Lynn were there, but I know you guys kind of came in a little bit later after the report. But I'm really just here, should you have any questions and to provide any support. We do attend your partner meetings, and provide a report very high level, but to get further deep into what our activities are, especially as it relates to our mandates and mission, I feel it beneficial to attend your board meetings. With that, I just have a few updates. Director Yvonne, she did attend the STAC meeting that was held January 28th. She did put together some notes, so as soon as that's finalized, we'll forward it out to all of the board directors for your review. Regarding the NACD, the Pacific region is in support of a resolution that the South drafted to increase the transportation rates under the USDA Farm Service Agency program. So I hope that we can schedule some time while the Guam delegation is out there, if you do support that, to really advocate for that need so our farmers can get the due rate that's meant for them based on our economic standpoint, even given the new developments. But yes, so I can provide that resolution to you as well. I know that Jenna Lynn sent sometime last week about the inquiry for an auction donation. I know it's kind of last minute, but as much as we'd love to, I think we can plan for that during one of the next or upcoming meetings in advance. So I think that's really it. We will get back regarding the election group meeting or work session. I believe NRCS is planning to have a big training that week. So as soon as we find out, we'll let you know. But of course, in respect to Dr. B and Mark, we do not want to prolong this any further and start the planning process for the election. And then I guess the last couple of things regarding the stewardship week. So I did hear earlier on, the North does agree that May 2nd is an agreeable date for the local working group.
May 2nd?
Yes.
May 2nd. Okay. So what I'll do is when the South convenes, we'll go ahead and further confirm and concur, and we can start the coordination on that. I heard also that there's a proclamation signing day. Is this something that the North is wanting to do independently? I know we usually coordinate on the proclamation signing with the governors, but I think this is the first time I'm hearing about this, so I just wanted to clarify, is this something we're going to jointly work on, or is the North wanting to kind of independently host the proclamation?
Erica, we're doing it together. I'm actually, well, I'm proactive in planning for the events that are going to happen. we know that the April 27th is the stewardship week, but we're looking at the calendar, and the governor's office only will do a proclamation on the first and third week of the month. And so we're thinking if we can do a proclamation in advance, we can do primers, especially for sending it out to individuals that these are things that are happening for Stewardship Week in preparation of that. So we have the community we're outreaching to the community before the actual stewardship proclamation the Stewardship Week begins. So that's why we're looking at doing it on April 4th, because that's the first week of the month. On the third week, it's almost right in with the Stewardship Week side of the house, and so we wanted to give a primer to that. And so Jenilyn and Savannah is supposed to get with you guys to say, okay, let's coordinate for this particular time in terms of having the proclamation in advance of the actual Stewardship Week. And so that's where we're at. We're not turning around and working independent of it and having it separate. Again, we're bringing it up because we want to plan in advance. There's a lot of other events occurring, and we want to make sure we deconflict with everything, making sure everything happens. So Jenilyn and Savannah are supposed to get with you on this and to work out the specifics of what's going to happen within the planning for the Stewardship Week. Yes.
So we'll be collaborating for the proclamation, and then we can work on discussing more in regards to what we'll be doing for Stewardship Week. Since the Southern had led last year, maybe the North can lead this year.
But you guys need to get together.
Yes, we'll coordinate a pre-planning.
And that's what I inform my staff, is that making sure that they get with the South so you guys can work, we can collaborate and work together on making sure the Stewardship Week becomes successful, and that's where we're at.
Okay.
Yes, I agree, and I appreciate that, Chairman Joe. We do. I mean, we love Stewardship Week too, so we definitely want to see it successful. But yes, kindly send over any details prior, so that way I can also get the commitment and concurrence from the South as well, respectively.
Thank you.
Thank you, and that's it. I'll see you everyone in Utah, and wishing all those attending safe travels.
Okay, thank you. We'll definitely see you there. Safe travel also. Okay, Chad, do you have anything to say?
Well, I noticed that this is one of the reasons. Thank you for letting me kind of sit in, and I did the same thing in the South too. I want to try to attend some of the board meetings that I can, just so I can get my face in front of your face a little bit more too. Because as I see now, I mean, I want to try to be at all the partner meetings, but I'm going to be in the States over last week of February, so I will miss the partner meeting next time. So, by showing up at these and at least kind of catching wind of what you guys are doing, and we can chat a little bit, hopefully, I won't skip a beat by maybe missing a partner meeting. So that's the reason why
I can give you the Zoom if you want to Zoom in.
Interestingly, though, I'm going to be attending some African swine fever training in Texas, is what I'm going for, and that's in preparation if we were to ever get an African swine fever outbreak, and how we would potentially respond to that type of emergency. And I'll fill you guys more in on that, but there was some information that's recently come out about that. Guam has been identified as very, very high risk for African swine fever. There was a positive case that showed up in the Dominican Republic and Haiti a couple of years ago. USDA did a massive amount of feral flea control in Puerto Rico and Virgin Islands, with the idea that we could potentially get a positive case. And
how is it transmitted?
It's primarily transmitted through like food products. but because it can survive high heat. So when they make a lot of sausage and things out of feral pigs, what people do, they transport it illegally. So it can easily, and so when we kind of told people how much air traffic that comes from China, from Japan, from Korea, and Philippines, it's positive in the Philippines. We have real high risk potential here, and so we're actually on the radar. So I guess what I'm saying is,
It's
we'll
inevitable.
see. We didn't get any money, but there's potential.
Can you send us information, or because you're headed over there, we can turn around because we're also in the Invasive Species Council.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we get that out and then see we can.
We should invite him.
Yeah. No, actually, you do have a representative that shows up there.
Yes, Aaron shows up.
Yeah.
But I think what would be great if you could provide that for the partners meeting, even through email. That's fine,
Okay.
and then we can just present it during that time.
Yeah, and I'll give you an update on, where we're
And we also sent out information on that to our registry, and so we want to make sure the farmers are aware of what's happening and with that. So whatever information you can provide,
Okay.
we'll look at it and like you said, it's transmitted to food, and so I mean, what other pathways that we can shore up so it doesn't come here.
Yeah. It's a really big deal because it could decimate the pork industry in the States if it makes it, from Philippines to here to the States. And I think they weren't really, Guam was not on the radar because we're so far away. And they looked at Puerto Rico saying, well, Puerto Rico's so close and it's also so close to Dominican. So they put millions of dollars in feral pig control in Puerto Rico for the last couple of years. And when I started, Charlene and I were talking, we're like, why are they not looking at Guam? So we did kind of put it forward to our feral swine people, and they're like, oh yeah, that's a big deal. And so we kind of informally asked for some federal money to kind of help. And they said no, but it's,
Maybe we can.
It could be something.
Because when the meetings, one of the things they bring up, there was a portion of what is it in invasive species, and how each of the state tackles invasive species within their own regional areas or their region, and so we can bring that up about the thing over here. How can I get information for? Can you send me some information?
Yeah. So Aaron and I are both going to the training because it's
no, but you're going for the training. But I'm saying that can you send me information? So because the meeting begins this weekend. And
in Utah.
In Utah.
Yeah.
So if we go to Utah and we bring it up to them, we can see what they're addressing, and like you said.
Right now, it's just barely on the radar.
But it's on Texas, right?
The training that we're.
No, but what other states are big? Because Puerto Rico will be there.
No, this is just an internal training for wildlife service.
No, I'm talking about you said they were Puerto Rico was impacted with that particular.
It had been for a couple of years.
Right, so we can find out about it from Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is going to be present and there,
gotcha.
and get information from them. But then, NACD will be. I mean, at NACD they bring up one of the issues they're bringing up is feral swine. They actually have funding for that, and they have things that you can turn around and tap into at the meeting and say we would like this thing and.
Maybe we could try to get more attention on our end.
Yeah, that's the main thing because we really weren't even on anybody's radar, and then our program finally realized and saw the real threat because we are so close to. They don't realize the air traffic that we have coming from the Philippines and from Korea and all those places that do have AFS in their countries, and it would be pretty easy to pass through here because we have so much air traffic that comes to Guam and then goes to the state. Way more than what goes to Puerto Rico into the States.
Yeah.
So when they saw the amount of air traffic, that is a really big threat.
And then
just making that aware to more people, then it would potentially help.
And then what we can do is beat this up with not only the invasive species, but go to the policy side of the house and they really we need to beef up biosecurity division.
Yeah.
The personnel there and they do have the money, but we can't wait we can't wait for them to hire employees. We need them to immediately hire the employees now, and so we can be proactive about it.
I don't want to hold up your meeting.
Okay.
Just wanted to mention that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anything else? No other things?
Regular.
Yes.
Chairman, I want to wish you all a good trip to Utah, learn a lot, have fun, maybe go skiing.
I don't know, water skiing, not snow skiing. You were invited, and Mark is going to be there. And
I'm to hold the fort down here. You're right, he's going.
yeah. But anyways, thank you very much. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
So moved. Meeting adjourned at 17:44 or 5:44 p.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Hey,
Be safe. Travel safe, guys.
Dessert.
Thank you.
Oh my God! Now.
What is this?